I'm standing at one of the busiest corners at E3 here with Fallout New Vegas, and Larry, the lead producer, is here to talk me through it. What are you showing off here at E3?
Well, I'm here for Fallout New Vegas. I'm a lead producer on the development team at Obsidian.
And what's the code that you're showing off here?
This is actually our alpha build, so we're going to be wrapping up, feverishly working on beta and beyond. We're going to be hitting the street October 19th. So what we're showing here is a bit of the strip for the first time to the general public, so they can get a feel of how different the New Vegas strip feels versus the rest of the wasteland. They've seen us fighting super mutants and arming mega weapons and doing some other wacky traditional Fallout things, but the strip and a burgeoning nightlife and casinos, that's new. So we wanted to show that off.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what makes that a different experience from Fallout 3?
Well, Fallout 3, I mean, one of the big differences is the Mojave Wasteland is not as devastated by nuclear strike impacts. So there's generally less radiation. You'll actually see some blue skies, and there are some areas, of course, with radiation, and there's Black Mountain, which is a super mutant enclave, which is kind of dangerous and a little more foreboding, but overall, it does have a very different feel from the capital wasteland of Fallout 3.
What is it about Vegas that makes it a good sort of place to go with Fallout?
Well, I think it was a natural. Fallout 2 actually had New Reno, and we really wanted to see what we could do with a next generation sort of take on gambling, and really Vegas is the jewel of the West Coast in a lot of ways, or the Western U.S. We just wanted to see the interesting juxtaposition of decadence, water, and power, and kind of vice in this post-apocalyptic wasteland. So we think it's a very interesting mix.
For some of the founders and people working at Obsidian, it's a bit of a return to the roots with Fallout. How's that been for you guys to sort of return to that franchise?
Well, I personally think it's been fantastic. We've got Scott Everts, who was the world builder, I believe the only world builder on Fallout 1, and one of the world builders. He also worked on Fallout 2, and we've got Chris Avallone returning. He was the designer who made New Reno in Fallout 2. He's our art director, one of the owners of Obsidian. We've got lots of history with Fallout. So for a lot of the guys, it's been a great chance to kind of do what some unfinished business in a lot of ways. It's been great.
And from a technological standpoint, are you using the Fallout 3 engine, or have you used your own take? Or?
We definitely started with the base of Fallout 3, and it's the reason why we've been able to make a massive game. It really is good at making big RPGs. We've had to tweak the tech a little bit, some memory optimizations, some physics optimizations, but they'll be subtle to most people. In the end, you might see some locations where you have a few more NPCs than would have been possible with the default engine, but overall it'll still have a very similar look and feel.
And the gameplay systems, what have you changed with those, or will you sort of just slip right into them? Or?
Right. Well, I think the game will be very comfortable. Behind the scenes, we actually gutted the way combat works. We've added a lot more kind of traditional console first-person shooter tropes. We have iron sights, and we've made we've done many things to basically streamline the way input works. So hopefully it feels more responsive. And we've made systemic changes to the way combat is calculated, weapons work, and how they interplay with your attributes. So again, I think strength plays a role in a lot of combat, more than it did in the past. So if you have a heavy weapon, you'll actually be more accurate. If you have a 10 strength and you're kneeling and you have a high weapon skill, you're going to be really, really accurate. Also, we've added tiered weapons, so we didn't want the game to feel bad like unfortunately some RPGs kind of feel bad because you have a low weapon skill when you start out, so you're going to be highly inaccurate. But we didn't want that, so what we did is we made tier 1 weapons, which you're likely to find in the beginning, kind of feel right. Like if it's a tier 1 rifle, you're still going to be pretty accurate with it. It just doesn't do a lot of damage. But at least I don't think it'll be frustrating that way. That's our intention.
Because I think a lot of players who were used to action games when they played Fallout 3 in the beginning, it took a few hours before you actually got to a point where you felt good enough to sort of be comfortable in the world.
Absolutely, and I think that's why most people just kind of, or a lot of people stuck with VATS and Vault-Tec. It's like our turn-based kind of combat system, which was very satisfying and fun and kind of cinematic, so I think a lot of people use that. But we want to give the option to those that really want to do first-person, traditional first-person shooting.
VATS is still there?
What is there?
VATS is still there?
VATS is still there, and we've made one modification to it for melee. We wanted to give something to people that actually use melee weapons, and so you can actually spend AP action points on special moves. You might have seen it in an earlier demo. We have the 9-iron, which is basically a golf club, and it has a special move called 4, and it has a chance of knocking people down. It's just fun to kind of do a nice golf swing and knock someone over. So I think melee weapons are going to be a little more fun.
And you're getting ready to launch pretty soon?
Absolutely. I mean, we're in the final stretch. We're going to hit US October 19th and in Europe October 22nd.
And you've got a beautiful collector's edition coming as well?
I think so. You can actually see the cards, big versions. We're not going to give away giant decks, but you can see some of the cards that the Caravan cards that we're going to include. Caravan is one of our new mini games. In addition to the casino gambling, there's a game, kind of the poor man's gambling game that was developed by traders. Something you might play around campfires. It's a really fun card game, a lot of strategy and deck building, and it's a deep game. We hope we hope and think people will really like it.
All right, thank you very much for your time.
Great, thank you.